In the next part of our series covering the topic of GS paper 1, that is distribution of key natural resources, we're going to cover water resources. In the previous video, we have already completed land resources. Water is fundamental to almost every aspect of our existence. It is sustaining life on earth. At the most basic level, all the living organisms are made up of cells, and these cells require water to function. Water facilitates biochemical reactions within cells. It also provides habitat to many organisms, especially aquatic species, which rely on water bodies as their primary habitat. Oceans, lakes, rivers, and wetlands support diverse ecosystems. Water helps in thermal regulation. Water has a high heat capacity, allowing organisms, especially large mammals and humans, to regulate their body temperature. It acts as a transport medium in animals. Water serves as a transport medium carrying nutrients, oxygen, and waste product via the bloodstream. Water is also very crucial for agriculture. It helps in plant growth. Water is essential for photosynthesis and for transporting nutrients within plants. A consistent water supply is vital for healthy crop growth. Livestock require water for drinking, digestion, and temperature regulation. It maintains soil fertility. Water supports microbial activity in the soil, facilitating the decomposition of organic matter and release of nutrients. Many agricultural regions rely on irrigation, especially in areas with inconsistent rainfall. It also sustains our industries. Water is used in countless manufacturing processes, from cooling machinery to being a key ingredient in products. It helps in energy production. Hydroelectric power stations convert the energy of falling water into electricity. Even nuclear and fossil fuel plants require vast amount of water for cooling. Water is also used for mineral extraction and processing in the mining industry. Water is used to dilute and transport waste materials. It has a cultural significance also. Many religious rituals use water in their ceremonies. For instance, in Christianity, water is used for baptism. In Hinduism, the river Ganga is considered sacred. It has a symbolic value as well. Water often symbolizes life, purity, and transformation in literature, art, and folklore. It is an important source of recreation. Rivers, lakes, and seas are sources of recreation, from swimming and boating to fishing. It also has an historical significance. Many ancient civilizations, such as the Egyptian civilization, Mesopotamian civilization, the Harappan civilization, arose near major water sources, such as Nile River, Tigris and Euphrates River, and the Indus River. In essence, water underpins life, supports economic activities, and carries deep cultural and spiritual meanings. Therefore, it is imperative to know the distribution of water resources around the world. The oceans comprise 97.5% of the world's water. Rest 2.5 lies beyond the ocean in the form of glaciers and ice caps, groundwater, and surface water. As you know, the oceanic water is saline, thus not usable. The fresh water, which comprise only 2.5% of the total water resources, most of which lies under glaciers and ice caps, is basically frozen, thus not accessible. 0.5% lies underground, which needs technology to extract, thus not easily accessible. Only 0.1% is fresh and easily accessible in the form of surface water. This surface water is mostly in the form of rivers, lakes, ponds, etc. The groundwater, which lies beneath underground aquifers, act as a reservoir for future use in case of droughts and water scarcity. 90% of the glaciers and ice cap is basically found in Antarctica. That's why with climate change, the melting of ice in the Antarctica ice sheet is posing a great challenge in the form of sea level rise. 8% is found in Greenland, and rest 2% is found majorly in the form of small glaciers and ice caps. As we can see, the distribution of water resources around the world is uneven, and only a small fraction is fresh and easily accessible. Water's uneven distribution, with vast reserves in places like the Great Lakes and severe scarcity in areas like Middle East, makes it a geopolitical pivot. While nature plays its role, poor governance and climate change amplify disparities. Some regions enjoy ample rainfall, others face recurring droughts. This isn't just an environmental issue, it's a cornerstone of global security. Here are some brief global examples that emphasize the significance of water from both a geopolitical and environmental perspective. First, desertification in Africa. In the Sahel region, which stretches across Africa below the Sahara, the Sahel faces severe desertification. Overgrazing, deforestation, and climate change are turning once fertile land barren, leading to food and water crises, and in turn triggering conflicts and mass migrations. To combat this desertification, the Great Green Wall Initiative was started. It is an African led project which aims to grow 8,000 kilometers of trees and vegetation across Africa to combat desertification. Nile River, which flows through 11 countries, the Nile is Africa's longest river and vital for agriculture, especially in Egypt and Sudan. However, projects like Ethiopia's Grand Renaissance Dam have sparked geopolitical tensions over water rights and usage. Tigris and Euphrates River. Both rivers are essential for Iraq, Syria, and Turkey. Over extraction and dams have, at times, brought these nations close to conflict. Let's take the example of Himalayan glaciers and South Asia. These glacial reservoirs, the Himalayas, often termed the third pole, house vast ice reserves feeding major rivers like the Ganga, Indus, and Brahmaputra. These rivers support hundreds of millions in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and China. Melting glaciers due to global warming and contentious water sharing agreements like the Indus Water Treaty of 1960 pose significant challenges for regional stability. These examples underline how intrinsically water resources are tied to the socio-political fabric of regions, often shaping national priorities, diplomacy, and even potential conflict points. In the next part, we'll cover the environmental dimension of water resources, the hydrological cycle, the deforestation and its implication, climate change and their implication. Until then, you can solve these questions.